So back when I first got the T7, this was the GPS that I stuck on it originally, and it looked really nice. Didn't work all that well though. I had previously had it installed on the Gen 2 KLR that I had, and that pretty much destroyed it. So I bought this ridiculous 6-inch GPS. Worked pretty well, looked pretty ridiculous. And I started to get a lot of comments on older videos where this GPS was still mounted on the Tenere, and it seemed like a lot of people really thought that this looked really nice on there and wanted to buy this exact unit. Now, I would definitely not recommend that. I don't know how much of the just old technology that's in here was a contributing factor for this thing basically kind of shaking itself to pieces and not charging anymore. But I found something now that I think will be a much better option for you guys, and something that I'm really happy that I decided to do. I think, again, this looks much, much nicer than the big 6-inch. I really like how this kind of matches the same profile width of the dash itself, and I think it really just kind of blends in very nicely with the aesthetic of the bike, and you almost would think that it was meant to be there from the factory. So now for my favorite part, let's take this thing out, hit the road, hit the dirt, and see how it does. So if you're wondering why I keep sticking GPSs that are really meant for cars on my motorcycle, the answer is really pretty simple, and that's cost. Even if you were to buy these units new, I think they'd still be like half the price of what a purpose-built motorcycle GPS would cost. And I've been picking these up on eBay for a ridiculously reduced cost. The big 6-inch one I think cost me $40, and this one cost me $25. So I could buy, what, 10 of these for the price of one purpose-built motorcycle GPS. And obviously there are some reasons that you might want a purpose-built motorcycle GPS. For me personally, these definitely get the job done. I mean, I've got all sorts of info on here that I accidentally turned on and now think is super cool. With VV maps on here, you will see coming up, there's some green in the upper left-hand corner. That means that is managed forest land, so it's land that's open to the public. It also shows all state, county, and national forests. So really pretty cool for finding trails. Speaking of trails, it also shows all of the snowmobile, ATV, and OHV trails, which I think is pretty awesome and is super nice for me. And if you guys are in Wisconsin or any of the two states to the east or west here, you can take a look down in the description. I'll have a link for the VV maps. It's really a pretty slick setup. All you got to do is pop the little SD card that they give you in your GPS, and you get all the information that I've been talking about here. So it's pretty sweet. Now, obviously, because this is an automotive GPS, it is not going to be waterproof. I don't really know if they're intended to hold up to the amount of vibration that mounting it in a spot like that is going to put out. I've never had any problem with it, anything other than the original one that I had, which was 10 years old when I put it on the KLR to begin with. And I think honestly the KLR just kind of shook the internals of that thing to pieces, and I don't think anything really stood a chance up there. That wrecked one of my phones too. These though have not given me any problems at all, either the 6-inch or the 4-inch here. There's always a lot of rocks on this corner, and of course this truck. And so far so good with this one. I guess I really shouldn't say that I haven't had any problems with it. I've only got a couple miles on it yet, but it seems like it's doing good. Actually perfect timing here. When we get in right direct sunlight, it's a little hard to see. I think my 6-inch was like that too. Not really a whole lot you can do about that. I don't know that the motorcycle ones, I guess maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below there. I don't think the motorcycle ones are probably a whole lot better. Maybe they're made a little bit brighter since they're meant to be out in direct sunlight, but still well worth it for me for the price that I paid for them. Last time I went past this field, I had 3 deer book it right out in front of me, right about here. Almost smacked one of those with the TW. Luckily I had XL Jason behind me, and we got the Bluetooth communicators going, so he yelled at me that there was a deer, and I don't think that I would have seen it fast enough. It just came out of like absolutely nowhere. Those things were going hard. I think actually I wouldn't have even hit the deer. I think the deer would have hit me. On my own today though, so I better keep a sharp eye out. Now, I don't know if I could really recommend the exact setup that I've got here. I think what I had set up with the 6-inch probably worked a little bit better and made a little bit more sense. If you guys didn't see the video where I mounted the 6-inch on the Tenere 700 back last winter, I can put a link down in the description. I've got this thing directly VHB taped to that Mob Up Designs mount. and that means that there is absolutely no way to remove this without ripping the GPS right off of the VHB tape. And if you guys have ever tried that, it takes a bit of work and usually a screwdriver to get it to come off. So I guess maybe that's a good thing. Hopefully anybody that tries to seal it will be confused, and we'll just leave it alone there, I guess. Obviously, I can't pull it off if I, leave the bike out parked somewhere. It's pretty much just stuck there, but I don't know, whatever. The other issue that I noticed actually after I already had it mounted is that you can't pull the cable that runs into the back of it in or out because the GPS bar is in the way now. So I did actually have to kind of peel it back a little bit and then stick it in. That's not the greatest, especially if you're going to use a power cable that would go into a 12-volt cigarette lighter style outlet. I luckily had a USB cable laying around that I used instead, and then put a little USB insert into the Tenere there. What this is going to allow me to do and why that's important is this is a lifetime map unit, so if I ever want to update the maps, I can just bring my laptop down to the garage, plug it into this cable right here, and I'm good to go. Now, if for some reason I do ever decide to wash the Tenere 700, obviously that's going to be a bit of an issue, but just like I did with my 6-inch GPS on here, because I was too lazy to try to unwrap all the cabling and undo the clip and everything, I'll just throw a plastic bag over it, which is what I would do if I got caught out in a rainstorm too. That looks like fun. I suppose I should probably show you guys what I've got done here. So I've got the third piece that's now closest to the GPS installed there, where originally I just had the outer piece and what's now the center piece that actually grab the GPS bar there. In between that, I do have some double-sided, I actually used carpet tape, which really works pretty well. Doesn't let this thing rotate around at all, which before it did. I think a metal mount, you wouldn't have that problem. Being 3D printed, it just really doesn't have that much grabbing power. I did have to make some other slight modifications. On the other side here, I did countersink the holes. As you notice, all three pieces are now almost the same size. That middle piece was originally flipped over, stuck up a little bit higher. I just kind of shaved that down with my bench grinder, and it really works pretty well, and it looks nice. I like that it's all just sort of packed in there uniformly, and there's no GoPro brackets sticking out, which really did work fine and weren't all that noticeable, but this makes me a little bit happier anyway. Look at that beautiful fall day out there. Trees dropping apples all over the road. Wonder what that was. So if you guys can think of any good reasons either to use or not to use this on a motorcycle for the road, let me know down in the comment box below. I can't think of any more, and I want to hit some dirt and test this thing out here, so let's see how it does. Although I think you guys are just going to have to keep an eye on it for me. I think I'm going to be too busy having fun. Ooh, that's a big rock. T7 soaked it right up. Yikes, it is wet out here. You guys getting sprayed up there on the 3D camera? Hopefully not. 3D, 360. Well, how's it looking? It hasn't shut off yet. I've got my ATV trails on there, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of, I guess, the 3D camera and the Hero 7 that I've got glued onto my helmet here, I suppose I really haven't mentioned those at all. They just sort of showed up at my house. Not like the rest of the Amazon packages that come every day. They were actually hand delivered. I guess all UPS are hand delivered. But anyway, big thanks. That's all I'm supposed to say about that. Huge thanks. Which way do we want to go? We'll go this way. So I don't really anticipate any issues with this thing getting too wet. Just by riding trails like this anyways. It's nice and hidden up there behind the windscreen on the T7. I have been caught out in the rain with these before though, and just like a GoPro that's not completely sealed, you don't really have too many problems unless you're in like a huge downpour. And honestly, the best thing to do is just to turn them off and hide them if you really are, and pull the battery out if you can. I guess on a GPS you can't do that obviously, but again, for the price that you pay for them, I'm just not that worried about it. I mean, 25 bucks if it gets wrecked. I mean, 25 bucks is still 25 bucks, but it's just not really anything that I'm going to be concerned about, I guess. And I would sure rather have something go wrong with my $25 GPS than my $250 GPS. And like I said, I really haven't had any problems other than that first one, and I don't really anticipate any with this one. It seems like it's staying on, which is actually what went wrong with that first one. I think the connections in there for the charging part got just obliterated by the KLR, so it didn't work out so well for it. But if I do run into any issues with either this one on here or the one on the TW, I will be sure and let you guys know. If you guys are not familiar with the channel, I do put a video out every week, and actually in the wintertime you can catch me and my 6-inch GPS on a snowmobile if you're interested, and that is coming up. I guess we will say farewell. I'm gonna ride a bit of trail and then head home to see the wife and the little guy, and we'll call it a night. So hopefully this video was informative to you. If it was, make sure and give it a like and let me know down in the comment box below. And hey, let me know what kind of GPS you're running on your machine. Woo! And how you like it. Thanks for watching. Take care, stay safe, and stay swanky. Oh, get out and ride some trails, man. It's beautiful out here. Alright, and if you can't, hey, check out some more videos and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell after you're subscribed, then it'll let you know anytime I put a video out. Oh, I love this bike.